Agent 6 has been called by the top commanders of Kisaragi, Astaroth, and Belil for an important mission. They introduce him to Lilith, who is a genius scientist. He will be teleported to an Earth-like world where he needs to place a teleporter there as well as investigate its technology, military, and resources. He is given a high-spec android named Alice to help him, but Alice is a lot more sarcastic. Only because 6 himself is a moron. They are ready to teleport when 6 realizes the teleport success rate is high because of the flimsy testing. And off they go. They free falling. Lucky Alice brought a parachute. As they land, they talk about evil points, which are needed to trade stuff. Seeing as 6 has very few of them, it's going to be hard for him. A dog monster appears out of nowhere and attacks them. 6 has a hard time fighting them and is about to be fodder for one until Alice makes him use his evil points to trade a shotgun for her. After destroying the monsters, they are approached by a hot commander, Snow. She thinks they are bad people, but Alice uses her wiles to cook up a story that they are travelers and that 6 is on a journey to find himself. Snow believes her story and brings them back to meet the princess she serves. Outside the gate, they notice an old, rusted tank. Snow and her people don't really know such technology and think it is an ancient weapon that protected them from monsters. Inside, they meet Princess Christosel's Tilly's Grace, who 6 admires for her beauty. Tilly's explains that their kingdom is currently at war with the demons of the next country, who are attempting to expand their territory. As they are losing, she needs his help. Snow tries to convince 6 that they are alike and share common interests. She likes recognition, money, and glory, so if he is in trouble, she hints she can help him. But he declines, as he isn't two-faced like her. Alice notices a huge cube artifact outside. The royal family used it to pray for rain, but it is now broken. Alice offers to fix it, and Snow is happy to take responsibility for that, thinking she'll get some reward too. Alice is done fixing, but 6 resets the password. Imagine how embarrassing it would be if Tilly said that. Until Alice points out there is also a king, it'll be super awkward. Since Tilly's heard this, they have been arrested and brought before the king. The king forgives them because they fixed the artifact. However, Tilly's wants to hire them under her command. 6 agrees. Alice denotes that the true ruler is Tilly, and the king is just a loser doting on his daughter. Snow, not happy with it all, threatens to kill them, but 6 reminds them about the responsibility she has to take. From today, 6 and Alice are now honorary knights of the Kingdom of Grace. Snow still tries to assert her authority, but Alice shoots this miser down, saying that they now rank higher than her. 6 and Alice begin the selection of the other members alongside Snow, all of them women and elderly. Alice asks Snow to introduce her to the 2 candidates with the biggest killing strikes. The first one, making an exaggerated presentation, is the Chimera Rose. She explains her abilities and her creator's will of making herself stronger. The next one is Grim, who tries to make a mysterious and sensuous presentation. After a discussion about hierarchy between 6 and Snow, which ended with 6 grabbing her and Snow running after him, Tilly stops them and asks 6 to take it easy with her since she put much effort into becoming a knight, and informs them they can stay in the barracks. 6 and Alice end up sharing the room. 6 proposes to do a big action to win a new hideout as a reward, but Alice tells him not to underestimate this world. In the following day, the newly formed unit goes on their first mission to destroy the enemy's supplies under Snow's commands. Since she needs jobs that pay her well, and roses, who want to fight and eat stronger monsters. But at the end they all agree, taking the low-level monsters responsible for the supplies aback and destroying everything. However, a powerful demon shows up, presenting herself as Hein of the Flame, one of the top 4 elite members of the demon army. She tries to convince him to join her army in exchange for a human slaves, which he refuses. 6 and Hein fight each other while the others create excuses for not helping him, but Alice helps take off Hein's griffin. During the fight, another elite member of the demon army, Gadalkand of the Earth, shows up and kills Grim, who was sleeping all this time, and fights against the remaining unit until both Hein and Gadalkand are called back by another official. While 6 tells everybody to prepare a funeral for Grim, Snow reveals that Grim is immortal, and they go to Xenareth's temple to perform the ritual that will bring her back from death in the middle of the night. While 6 waits alone, Grim comes back, believing 6 will bear with her for such a pathetic death, but after learning he actually wanted to make her company, Grim asks him for a date. Using Kisaragi wheelchair, 6 and Grim run through the streets ruining other couples' dates, being reprehended by a police officer, who after learning she has a boyfriend, tries to curse, revealing the success rate of her curses and the reason she is on a wheelchair, but the curse backfires and afflicts Grim, who falls unconscious on the ground. Grace Kingdom's main official discovers that the demon army retreated, and 6 shows up, revealing he was responsible by destroying their supplies and antagonizing the army strategist with his disrespect. Tilly's thanks him while the king mentions that they just have to wait for the chosen one. After hearing the legend, Six believes he is the chosen one, since he has a mark on his hand like the one. But Tilly's reveals that is the bite of a deadly insect that didn't kill him thanks to his nanobots, and that the prince is already the chosen one, making the strategist laugh. Outside the castle, Six find Rose running away from Alice, who once she eats against her will a grasshopper to get stronger. Six helps Alice, who is promised something tasty if she eats the grasshopper. Rose gets outraged, and while she tells them about her creator being right about humans, they ask her about her origin. After she reveals not remembering much before being discovered in some ruins. Her creator died in an experiment, and the reason she joined the army was to learn more about those ruins. Six and Alice decide to make Rose a Kisaragi apprentice agent, although she doesn't agree with or trust them. Six complains to Alice in their room that he hasn't had any lucky moments yet, and an annoyed Alice decides to put her hand on his chest and fake being excited, making Six even angrier until Snow shows up and reveals they have a new mission. It's revealed that the Chosen One was defeated on the Duster Tower by two demons, Gil of Strength and Rista of Knowledge, since the tower has an item needed to defeat the Demon Lord. While discussing strategies, Six proposes burning the tower, but at the end everyone agrees on a frontal attack. While the army attacks the tower, Six and his unit relax until night, except for Snow, who joined the meaningless fight and comes back defeated and exhausted. After Snow awakens grim from her strange dreams, Six and Alice prepare themselves to climb the tower outside using stakes. Everyone is doing well, except for Snow, who is too tired to climb and is being carried on the back of Six. After reaching the top, they hear Rista and Gil bragging about their chances of being promoted. Six then kicks Rista off. While Rista grabs the handrail, Six uses him as a hostage to prevent Gil from attacking, throwing rocks on him alongside his skeptical unit. After Rista comes back with reinforcements, Six uses a half-dead Gil as a hostage, forcing them out of the tower to save Gil's life, leaving Six and Alice victorious, but his unit disappointed. In the middle of the night, Snow shows up in Six's and Alice's room in order to pay them for a job well done. Six seriously consider getting rid of Kisaragi since the payment is far more substantial than the corporation one, and even though Alice is repenting him, she commemorates winning one too. With the demons fighting back, Six is given another task to take down the Elite Four, so both sides meet on the battlefield. This time, Hein has brought her golem with her. While Rose takes on the Griffin, Snow eagerly fights Hein with her new sword, No Loan, and Alice tries to wake up Grim. Six has to fight the golem. It's a tough fight, but eventually he has to release his limiters to gain some strength. After Alice puts bombs in it, he throws it away, and it explodes. The falling rocks finally wake Grim up. Six cannot move for 3 minutes after using those powers, so he needs his girls to protect him. Hein is here to kill them. When Snow got done with it, her sword broke. More debt. Before Hein could make her move, Grim used her paralyzing curse on her. Enough time for Six to return to normal. Hein tries to coax him to join their side with money and girls. He is about to give in, but Snow cuts off a magic stone from her. It lands in Alice's hands. Noting her panic reaction, they realize it is important to her. Hence, Six takes raunchy pictures of her and earns loads of evil points. And to prove how evil they are, they didn't say they'd give back the stone. Poor Hein flees in embarrassment. Back home, everyone celebrates their victory. Snow still won't accept Six, so he teases her. Everybody laugh. So later, as Snow grumbles and contemplates killing that bastard one day, the strategist comes up to her with a plan. Want to get back into the royal army? Can be done. Just find out the proof that Six is a spy. Since he pays her in advance, Snow reluctantly takes on the job. However, as she thinks back, Six isn't really such a bad guy and is a better fighter than she is. She thought of giving up this mission and finding some other way to return to the royal army when he overheard Six joking with Alice about him marrying Snow, and the need to establish his place in Kisaragi quickly and get back to that spy mission. Snow confronts him about this spy thingy. Six tries to change the subject, but Alice tells him it is hopeless. However, Snow will not report or question him. That's the least she could do as gratitude for saving this country. Just get out of here and never show your face again. Since Six and Alice quit the army, the strategist thinks it is Snow's doing, so she is back in the royal guard with Rose and Grim. They receive reports that the demons might attack in full force in a few days. Six and Alice are bummed out at an inn. They also know about the demons trying to take advantage of this chaotic situation. So to get some cool stuff, Six needs to earn some evil points by unzipping himself as a flasher before defenseless women, until he flashes before Snow and Rose. It's no surprise that the next day, the whole town is laughing at him because now he has the nickname Zipperman. But he earned enough evil points for Alice to get some weapons. Among them were mines to plant in the path of the demons. When they return, they hear the people in despair because the hero has gone missing. Apparently, while fighting one of the Elite Four, Faust, he was hit with a teleport spell. It is most likely that he is dead. Alice then talks about the legend concerning the hero. It has always gone according to legend. However, this time it didn't because he was already defeated at Duster Tower. But with Alice having terrifying options to defeat the Demon Lord, they realize their only option is to run. As they pack their bags, Tilly's comes in and knows they are spies since Six carelessly identifies one of his belongings that isn't from this world. However, she won't torture them but has a request. As the kingdom will be destroyed tomorrow, she wants them to watch their battles so when they return home, they'll tell the heroic deeds of those who died in battle. So they return to the royal palace to stay. Snow is not impressed, but since she is prepared to die rather than run, Rose and Grimm don't share the same idea. This has Six teasing Snow, and they get into their usual fight. The rest agree they love each other too much to fight like this. As the humans wait for the arrival of the demons, it looks like the minds are doing their job by delaying and surprising them. Hein is already wary that Six might be behind this. Then she spots her magic stone right on the ground, out in the open. Later that day, the demons finally arrived. Hein looks messed up and mad. As the demon army makes their way to the castle, Snow asks Grimm if she can take care of their golems, revealing she can and giving thanks for all the rings of couples she confiscated. The army, led by Hein, arrives at the castle, and although Grimm stops the golems, she fails to curse Hein, getting angry about her. While Rose protects Grimm from Hein, Gattlekin shows up, and although he can't see Snow as a threat, he is attacked by Rose, who won't abandon her friends as her creator told her not to do it. Snow still wants to fight, but after hearing Grimm's advice about the pain of dying, she runs away toward the castle as Grimm and Rose are going to fight Hein and Gattlekin. On the castle, Six and Alice are trying to escape along with Tilly, against her will, in order to preserve the royal bloodline. As they reach the doors, Snow appears and asks for Six's help, as Grimm and Rose won't last, apologizing and offering anything she has, but he denies while Alice tells him to ignore, blaming Snow. However, Snow, lamenting not being strong enough, begs his help, crying, and under Alice's protests and criticism, Six agrees to help. Six asks for the anti-material rifle, but since they don't have enough evil points since Six wasted them all, Alice tells him to punch the king. Tilly's and Snow stop him. Snow offers herself to Six to do whatever she wants to gain evil points. At first, Six tries to kiss her, but since she gave him permission, it wouldn't work, and he ends up taking off her pants in front of everyone. As Grimm and Rose are almost defeated, the golem starts to be destroyed by Six and Alice's attacks. But after realizing the attacks are coming from the castle, Hein, Gattlekin, and their winged army fly there. After provoking Gattlekin, Six and Snow start to fight the demons, while Alice requests the buzzsaw for Six. During the battle, the buzzsaw appears, and Six cuts both in half. Then, combining the buzzsaw with his limits released while boasting, Six gives his special move, slicing all the enemies except Hein into pieces and almost killing Snow in the process. Six then approaches Hein and proposes a 1-month truce, which she accepts and runs away with her army. At the end, Tilly's thanks him for his help and asks if he doesn't want to stay, but he refuses, blaming his subordinates for being too troublesome, infuriating Grimm and Snow, but at Snow's request, he accepts to be a mercenary. After Six took revenge on the strategist by making him completely bald with adhesive tape and saying he couldn't wait to go back to Earth, Alice reveals that Six now has negative evil points, so he can't go back without being punished. Alice offers an excuse, and Six thanks her partner, surprising Alice. Six and Astaroth are arguing because the teleporter's success chance was actually low, and Six could have died, and they want to know why Six doesn't come back to Earth. Six also wants more soldiers alongside him, but since Kisaragi is in a critical moment of the global domination, they don't have workforce to spare. Later, Six practices sword fighting alongside his pal Tiger Man, a mutant sent by Kisaragi, using Snow's flame zapper and breaking it. They both ask Alice what to do, but right after she says to glue it, Snow shows up after her precious sword. Six comes up with a ridiculous excuse for the sword dismissal, but Snow finds out its pieces hidden on Six's and Tiger Man's back. At the end, Tiger Man gives his katana to a heartbroken Snow, and while she hugs but Tiger Man isn't interested in taller women. Meanwhile, Tilly's discovers that her kingdom will be out of water soon and decides to do something she doesn't want to do. Back to Six and Alice's house, she reports her discoveries. Tilly's tries to activate the artifact without the public, with no result. Six shows up, by her request. Tilly's makes a request, since the artifact can't make rain again and her father is missing. She can't abandon the kingdom. Tilly's plans to send Snow as diplomat to Taurus, a kingdom that exports water stones to Grace. But Tilly's plans to reduce the exportation, and she wants Six to accompany Snow because the kingdom's prince is a famous womanizer. If Six catch him in the act, it will be an international incident she can use in her favor during the negotiations, and he accepts in exchange of information he needed. They depart in a jeep, driven by Alice, alongside Rose and Grimm. After they arrive and watch Snow demand a bribe at the same moment, they going to a party. Grimm shows her low-cut dress to Six and tries to curse him of impotence when he provokes her, but misses. Arriving at the party alongside everyone, Six and Alice watch their co-workers shame, with Grimm flirting, Rose swallowing everything, and Snow excited about the prince, flirting with him unashamedly, although he has no interest. At the end, Six and Alice go investigate something underground. She shows him what she believes to be a sleep capsule she found while exploring the castle. While they check into the capsule, Six and Alice are confronted by Russell of the Water, one of the 4 heavenly kings. As Six attacks Russell, Hein also shows up. Six captures her and uses her as a shield so Russell won't do anything funny. Until they learn they're actually guests at the party. Six confronts the Prince Angel about it, since it makes Taurus traitors of humanity, followed by Snow, and Angel reveals they have a non-aggression deal. Then Hein shows up, revealing that Taurus is helping them against the Sand King and the Demon Kingdom is buying the water stones Grace won't buy. Snow then tries to seduce Angel, competing with Hein. After watching such an old and fat man act like a harem protagonist, a defeated Six, with Alice's approval, takes revenge by putting his lower part on Angel's head in front of everybody at the party. Back at Grace, Tilly's receives a letter in which Taurus declares war against Grace. As Six and Snow shift the blame from each other, Tilly's demotes Snow and sends them on a dangerous mission to retrieve water nuts to replace the water stones. As Six and his unit collect the water nuts, he can't believe there is so much water on them. And after Grimm's explanation about magic compressing water leads to another quarrel with Alice about magic being real or fake. Then an earthquake starts, and after running back to the jeep, they discover that the trees where the water nuts grow are on Sand King's back. They try to run away, but in the end they jump out of the jeep, which is destroyed by the Sand King, leaving everyone trapped in the middle of the desert. At first, everyone tries to go back to Grace by foot. Although they have water on a leftover water nut, they decide to eat anything that shows up. But Six soon regrets it when he is forced by Snow and Rose to eat an orc, complaining to Alice with no results. At night, Alice orders Six to lift Snow's skirt in order to get a new vehicle, but Snow still opposes it even after hearing the explanation about the evil points. At day 4 in the desert, everyone just walks at night due to the heat, not finding anything, and being out of food. At day 6, Six still blames Astaroth for not gaining evil points, while everyone reaches their limits due to the heat and hunger. At day 7, Snow offers to lift her skirt, but after it doesn't work, Six asks if she likes it, infuriating her. At night, Six notices that Rose stopped separating him and Snow when they fought, almost like she expected something, and after seeing how she looked at him, similar to a mutant co-worker in Kisaragi, Six concludes that Rose wants to sleep with him due to the extreme conditions, and that he needs to do something more extreme with Snow to gain evil points. After that, Six tries to convince Snow to let him strip her, but she still resists until she collapses. With Snow unconscious and Grimm dead again, Alice tries to convince Six to strip Snow while she is unconscious, but he is hesitant. Suddenly, Rose admits she can't hold on anymore, and an exhausted Six forgets any reason not to do it, taking Alice out of their tent and convincing Rose everything is okay, but she needs to resist in order to gain evil points. As Rose takes the active role, Alice shows up and asks about what they're talking about, realizing Rose actually wants to eat Six. At the end, they wait outside while both Six and Rose fight, as Rose tries to eat him and Six harasses her to gain evil points. Now, with a new jeep they return to Grace. Six and Alice go immediately to Tilly, with a map to the Taurus ruins. She would give them if the mission was a success, to learn that the Taurus and Demon Kingdoms joined forces against Grace. Alice shows Six and Tiger Man her strategy, in which Tiger Man will take care of the demon army in a jungle while the Grace army deals with Taurus, and she and Six invade the ruins to steal the ancient weapon. Tiger Man is unhappy at first for being left behind, but Six cheers him up. Then Six and his unit head to Taurus. Arriving at the ruins, Six and Alice spy Hein and Russell leaving the ruins, almost finishing their job, as Grimm wants to finish the job by night. Snow suggests they attack the demon army while they sleep, but Six and Alice reject her plan, saying that they will rest that night. The following day, Six's unit follows Hein inside the ruins and Six, noticing the ruins are from an extinct technological civilization, as Snow tries to get pieces of it to sell on the market. As Russell and Hein fight together, Six plans to use Grimm to curse them, but she can't do it without saying it loudly, making both Snow and Rose feel bad. But they forget it after Alice remembers the first about the allowance and Six promises food for the later. as Hein and Russell finally arrive in the ancient weapon room and prepare to activate. 6 backstabs Russell by kicking him in the nuts, and the unit renders Hein, but Alice notices Russell is near death. After she cures Russell, 6 tries to force him to activate, but Russell enters on the weapon, activating it, a giant robot. 6 tries to use Hein as a hostage, but she escapes using a teleport stone, trusting Russell, but 6 takes her bra, resulting in Hein appearing on the demon castle topless. As 6 provokes Russell by throwing her bra on the robot, they try to escape from the ruins, but Russell is already waiting outside, attacking and forcing them to run inside the ruins, being followed by Russell. As Russell destroys the ruins, 6 and his unit think of a plan to defeat him. Grimm suggests curse the robot, but Alice is skeptical, resulting in Grimm trying to curse her and getting unconscious as it backfires after a piece of the ruins fell on her head. Rose proposes she negotiates with Russell. 6 approves the idea, but after noticing how scared she is, he decides to go outside by himself. Alice reveals she has a plan, but it will destroy the robot, put him on the red again, and take time, but 6 is confident, as Alice, Rose, and Snow go to the robot room as they need space and their help for the plan. Going outside and defeating the army on his way, 6 fights Russell, using lots of Kisaragi weapons, and finally using the R-Buzzsaw. Russell realizes 6's plan. Because of the R-Buzzsaw damage, the robot falls over 6, and as Russell has 6 on his hands, Alice shows up, piloting Kisaraga's ultimate weapon, the Destroyer, and 6 collapses as both robots fight. Waking up on the Kurosagi brand hideout, Alice reveals she defeated Russell, and both the Demon and Taurus armies were departed because of the Tiger Man and the Destroyer. He was unconscious for 3 days and they going to depart to meet Russell. In the Kingdom Jail, 6 tries to convince Russell to help with the water problem, but he refuses even if they torture him, so 6 lets Tiger Man do the job, who after seeing Russell, telling him he is just his type and that Russell will both help and wear girls' clothes, scaring Russell. Later, as the unit spends their free time, Grimm complains about her status on the team, but after 6 talks about transferring her to another team, she begs to stay. Meanwhile, Hein swears revenge for Russell, Gadelkand, and Fostress, being heard by the Demon Lord. Later, at night, both 6 and Alice look at the sky, the first thinking about Earth and when they will come back. Alice answers once they conquer every world, as 6 decides to conquer all the worlds and finally fulfill the dream of getting a harem.